Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. My name is Oluyemi Adeosun. Welcome. Happy New Month. Today, we'll be looking at a topic, very important topic, psychological safety and employee voice in the Nigerian workforce. And I'm happy that our facilitator is one of our regular, consistent facilitators. Her name is Juliet Keporo, and I would just like to read our profile very quickly for the benefit of those of us that may just be meeting her in person. Juliet is an award-winning HR professional and career strategist life, whose work cut across the intersection of people, purpose, and performance. She has been celebrated for her ability to unlock potentials at multiple levels. She serves currently as the Group Head, Human Resources and Corporate Services at Human Investment Group Africa, and she has delivered many laudable HR initiatives for them. Some of her work and acknowledgement recognition include top 26 next generation women in Africa, 9 to 5 Chick 2026, Top 50 Emerging Visible Women in Africa, She Premium Awards 2025, Top 10 Exceptional Professionals for the Year, HRTIB Awards 2025, Top 100 HR Leaders in Africa, Seamless HR 2025, Top 100 HR Professionals Driving Excellence, HR Talent Up 2024, and the list goes on and on. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Human Anatomy from the University of Port Harcourt and a Master's in International Human Resource Management from the Rome Business School, Nigeria. She's also a licensed associate and a chartered member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Speaking to us today on the topic, psychological safety and employee voice in the Nigerian workplace. Let's welcome Juliet Kekporo. Over to you, ma'am. You need to unmute.
Sorry. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity to share from what I know. Good evening, everybody. And I trust the weekend has been good. We're going to be dashing into Monday frenzy again from tomorrow. But just before I dive into my session, I just want to check um, what your energy or where your energy levels at, right? So what do I do? Please describe your weekend with one word so far. You can type it in the comments. Let me know how your weekend has been. Just one word. What's your weekend like so far? Let me see. One word to describe your weekend. As I look at me, say hectic. Oh, don't worry, this weekend that's coming will be better. Hi, Salami. Salami says good. Damilola stressful. I was supposed to be resting. I thought they said weekend was for rest. It means they have scammed all of us. Okay. Adewale, busy. Aize. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Uneventful. Okay. Okay. Your weekend in one word. Mine will be rest because I think since this year started, this is the first weekend I'm really resting to my satisfaction. Okay. Any other person care to share? How has your weekend been so far? One word. One word, one word, one word. How has your weekend been? How has your weekend been? Has it been busy, like Adewale said, or uneventful, like Isaac said, or stressful or restful, like I said? Feel free to share in the comments. Feel free. Okay, so we're waiting for others to respond. I'm just going to dive in. So our topic today, I think, is one that has been coming into the workplace limelight maybe in the past 2 years, right? Psychological safety, I think we've been hearing it a lot. Are your employees safe? Do they feel heard? Do they feel seen? With a lot of works that have been coming into making workplaces better. we've been hearing this particular word a lot, right? So the whole purpose of this particular session is to ensure that at the end of the day, right, you leave with even more understanding, because I'm sure we already have an idea what it is. We leave with even more understanding and practical steps to be able to like move our workplaces forward in terms of psychological safety and the employee voice in the Nigerian workplace. Okay, so the outline we'll be looking at today, well, first of course, we're going to understand what it means all over again. The Nigerian workplace reality, psychological safety versus fear culture, the four stages of psychological safety, impact of low psychological safety, how to assess barriers to employee voice mechanisms, the role of leadership, because obviously it plays a big role in achieving this, and benefits, and of course, case study, and we'll conclude. So now, before we even dive right in, I always love that, this is much a learning session and also an interactive session as well. So I'm throwing in a very quick icebreaker just to check where we're all at, right? So the very first question is, have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work, right? So even us as HR professionals, I know that we have a larger audience of HR professionals on this call. You're also an employee, right? So it's not only for employees, you're also an employee of organization. So all of us are employees. So have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work? Second question is, have you ever regretted staying silent? Like something happened and you knew that you could have contributed, but then you decided to stay chilled and not add or remove anything. And then by the time it plays out, you just realize that, I could have said something. Have you ever had that experience? Then C, have you ever been punished directly or indirectly for speaking up before at work? Right. So whichever one that speaks to you, please drop it in the comment. Drop it in the chat box. Have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work? If this relates to you, just type A. Have you ever regretted staying silent? If this relates to you, type B. Have you ever been punished directly or indirectly for speaking up at work before? If that applies to you, say C. If all of them apply, put A, B, C. Okay, let me jump into the chat box. So, A, what's your scenario? Are you team A, team B, or team C? Okay, Adewale says B. Have you ever regretted staying silent before? Okay, so please feel free. Let me know where you're at. If it is one, if it is A, have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work before? Please drop it. Have you ever regretted staying silent? Put B. Have you ever been punished directly or indirectly for speaking up before at work? Please put it in the chat. A, if you've only had one, if you've only had A, put A or B or C. If it's even all of them, put A, B, C. If it's only C, put C. If it's only B, put B. If it's A, B, however it is, what your experience is, feel free to drop it in the chat so I can assess where we're all at. So I think for me, if I'll put A, B, C. Somebody should type A, B, C on my behalf. So Adewale says B and C. Okay, regretted staying silent before, had an idea that we didn't share at work. Then Salami says A. Have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work? Okay. Then C, Damilola, have you ever been punished directly or indirectly for speaking up? Okay. All right. Pearl says A. Have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work? And now for those that said A, right? Are you able to tell us why you didn't share that idea? Are you able to just, maybe not a lot, I know that it may take a lot of time to type the response, but if it's something that you can really quickly explain, just say because of this or because of that. Then Jonah says A. I think we have a lot of A's. Okay, so people are having ideas, they're not sharing at work. Okay. Jonah says A. And if you said A, are you able to just give us a very quick reason why you didn't share that idea? Just really short and simple. I think I've gotten more A's and I have B and I have C as well, but more A's really. So what's the reason for you not sharing your idea at work? Why? Why are you not sharing your idea at work? If you're able to type it, feel free. And if you've not dropped your own response, feel free to drop it as well. Have you ever had an idea you didn't share at work? Have you ever been silent? Have you ever regretted staying silent? Have you ever been punished directly or indirectly for speaking up? Please drop your responses in the chat. And for everyone that you pick, if you're able to also just give us more, especially those that picked A, right? If you can share with us, please feel free and also type it in the chat. Okay, thank you so much, Belle. So Pearl says, most ideas I have were shut down because the department/person I gave it to only wanted ideas to come from her. So I decided to keep my mouth shut going forward. Oh, sorry, Pearl. Don't worry, after today, right, you send the recording of this session. Just find where that person is. If people are still in contact, tell them that this is something I want you to listen to. Just drop it and run away so that they can change for the better. Thank you so much, Belle, for sharing that experience with us. So feel free, drop yours. I will still be able to take them during the course of the session. So let's keep it moving to the next slide. All right. So introduction, right? What is psychological safety? Right. Obviously, from the word itself, we already know that psychological mind, right? And safety means safe, right? And open and free. So for definition's sake, right, a psychological safety, right, for the workplace, it means it's referring to a work environment where individuals feel safe to take interpersonal risk, like asking questions, admitting mistakes, or challenging the status quo without fear of punishment or ridicule. That is what psychological safety really entails when it comes to a workplace. And there are also key elements of psychological safety, which is freedom from humiliation, respect for diverse opinions, and encouragement of open discussion. Now, if I'm even just going to, go back to someone Pearl's experience that she shared about why she does not share ideas at work anymore, right? Is because anytime she's shared ideas, like it is shot at, right? And somebody else decides that, oh, it is only what I share that is great. So now remember that from what I've defined, right, psychological safety for the workplace is simply a work environment where individuals feel safe enough, right, to take risk. They're able to ask questions, admit mistake, and even challenge status quo without fear of punishment or ridicule. Share ideas freely without fear that somebody is going to push it aside, right? And then, of course, key elements are already highlighted in our call: freedom from humiliation. That's your employee should be able to speak up without being humiliated or ridiculed for saying what's on their mind, right? Respect for diverse opinions, saying, oh, all opinions are welcomed. There are no right or wrong opinions. You're free to share them and they can be assessed and what works can be taken up. Not that, oh, please don't share your opinion. We don't need it here, right? And encouragement for open discussion. The thing is, you can have discussions with people, with your employees, but are they really open enough for people to really share what they have internally, right? So these are like the three key elements of psychological safety. So if you're going to even start like a first level assessment for where you currently work, these are like the questions you should be asking and the kind of answers you're getting for this. Are people free to speak? Are people free to share their opinions? Can they suggest ideas? Can they share opinions? Can they contribute? Can they even challenge something at work without fear? Or everything is yes, ma, yes, sir, yes, ma, yes, sir, right? Are discussions encouraged in your workplace? Now, according to Amy Edmondson, who did the research for Harvard Business School, he said psychological safety is a stronger predictor of team performance than trust or comfort alone. If you really wanted to predict how high, performing teams move or how teams perform, psychological safety is really what you use because people would easily bring out their best in an environment that cultivates, that breeds, what's it called, that encourages them to actually feel safe. That's when their mind will work better and they will think better and they will to contribute to your workplace a lot better. And of course, that's high performance. We'll explore more benefits, towards the end of this session. So now, what is the employee voice? The employee voice is the willingness and ability of employees to express ideas, concerns, and suggestions and opinions on workplace issues. That's the employee voice. So now the question you should be asking is, does your workplace have an employee voice? Can your employees really express ideas and concerns and suggestions and opinion on your workplace issues? Maybe not even issues, it could just be comments about how things are currently done. Can they freely come and say, oh, this is what it is, or this is what I think, this is my opinion, these are my ideas of how we can improve and do this a lot better, right? That is the employee voice in your workplace. An employee voice actually have three specific types. He has the promotive voice, which is the voice that is for ideas for improvement. And then he has the prohibitive voice, which is the voice that warns about problems or risk. And then he also has the prescriptive voice, which is the voice that gives you thoughts on best practices. So if you're doing a first level assessment right now for where you currently work, do you have these voices present in your workplace? Right? Are ideas naturally being mentioned or suggested by your employees? Is their promotive voice evident in your workplace? What about their prohibitive voice? Do they warn you about problems or risk? Do problems happen and they even report it? Or did they sweep it under the carpet and say, ah, don't worry, just cover it, don't worry, they will not know about it? Or do they even have the prescriptive voice that shares their thoughts on your practices? Maybe you're like, oh, you feel like you're the great place to work in your mind, but deep down, they feel like, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in making this workplace better. Do they give you that prescriptive voice? Do they share their thoughts, right, on your practices, the ones that you even think are best? Do they share their thoughts to say, okay, this is great, but it can be better, and this is what we think? And will you even listen? So there is something called the employee voice, right? Like as I've said, psychological safety enables employee voice, and without it, employees stay silent. So one is a catalyst for the other. Psychological safety is a catalyst for bringing out your employee voice in your workplace. If your workplace is safe for people to express their ideas, it's safe for people to do their best work, right? Then you're able to enable the employee voice that will be able to, speak promotively, prohibitively, and prescriptively, right? So now, just a very quick poll. Which voice is most common in your workplace right now? Because I believe that you've taken some time to just, you've thought about it real quick, right? In your workplace right now, if we're going to be brutally honest with ourselves on this call, what voice is most common right now in your workplace? Is it the promotive voice, ideas, suggestions? Fantastic. Or is it the prohibitive voice, raising risk and issues? Or is it the silence? Or is it silence, keeping your head down? Or is it only senior voices matter? I added that one as a variation because I know that this one happens. So, which one do you think is most common in your workplace right now? Promotive, prohibited, silence, and only the senior people are the ones they listen to here. So, which one, if we're going to be brutally honest on the call, which one would you say, right, is common in your workplace right now? I'm going to jump into the chat. Okay, so I have more comments from the first icebreaker that we did. And Damilola said, C, right? I received a query for the first time in 5 years by informing members of staff on the platform to be security conscious during one of the NLC strike. My director said the message is okay, but I ought to have let her know before sending it to the platform. As HR, something as trivial as that? Wow. Okay. So because of that, you stop sharing. Okay. So this is even, this is HR to director. Damilola, please confirm to me that you're an HR person. So this is HR and a director saying, oh, you're getting a query for telling your employees to be careful. Okay. So anyway, these are real issues, right? This is why we're here. Thank you so much for sharing. Then, let me keep it moving. Then, Jillian said the presenter voice fits. Okay, please confirm that you can hear me clearly. Please confirm if you're saying my voice fades out for some second from time to time. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly now. Okay, Salami says the only senior voices matter. Tokwe says the only senior voices matter. Lord Bukola says the only senior voices matter. Ooh, okay. Oppo, rename your phone so that we can identify you. But anyways, that response is silent. So there is no voice at all. Wow. Okay. Um, Jillian says, can't remember the letters, but in my organization, employees are free with their opinions on everything. Oh, that's good. Thank you for sharing, Jillian. Damilola said, I'm the HR and admin coordinator. Wow. Hmm. Okay. So I think that's really just, it's already setting context why we're here today. Because if an HR person, right, an HR admin coordinator's voice, like you're not even free to even express your voice. I wonder what the employees can do if HR cannot speak or if HR's voice is being questioned. Because I feel like that's a basic thing. I don't think I need my CEO's approval to tell my employees to be safe during a strike period. Like that's like basic 101. I don't even think you should even get a query if you did not tell them because I don't know if you get my point. But anyways, thanks for sharing. Okay, Pearl says you can hear me clearly. Okay, thank you for confirming that. All right. So from this particular poll, I'm seeing that a lot of persons that responded to the poll, please respond so that I can get more context. But a lot of persons that responded so far said D, only senior voices matter, which is already signaling a problem in that workplace. It means it is not a psychologically safe place to work. If only senior voices matter, you're missing out on the voices that you're not listening to as a workplace. You're losing out on that potential, right? But now let's keep it moving. Thank you all for participating in the poll. Now, the Nigerian workplace reality. The truth is, Nigerian cultural and organizational context often includes these three key things, which even confirms a lot further because of the response we just got from that poll saying only senior voices matter. Now, there is high power distance in our Nigerian workplace. There is high power distance. There is strong hierarchical norms, right? And there is respect for seniority over debates. Like this is our Nigerian workplace reality. There is hierarchy, and that hierarchy, it might not even be said all the time, but you're just expected to just behave. In the Nigerian workplace, there is high power distance. Like everybody's striving or thriving, what's it called? Striving to, levels. This is my grade. This is my level. This is where I'm at. This is who we are. In a Nigerian workplace reality, these are like what happens, right? There's seniority, there's, senior, medium, junior, like know your place, right? In the Nigerian workplace reality. And the consequence that really causes is that a lot of employees would always hesitate to speak up. And of course, it will also cause the fear of being labeled disrespectful. The funny thing is, in the last, maybe 2 years, with all this progression of, the future of work and trying to make workplace more dynamic, even workplaces are adopting very, will I say, very global kind of work environment. Some companies now they say, okay, use first name basis or use initials. But there are some people in your company that you will still call with their first name and they will look at you like this. Hey, God, right? So this is the reality, right? There is a lot of work that is being done for us to move beyond, all this power distance, power dynamics, power tussle, norms, seniority, junior, whatever it is. There are a lot of work that is being done, but it's not enough yet, which is why, sessions like this needs to keep happening so that our leaders at the very top, the middle, everywhere, everybody needs to understand that if we really want to move the workplace forward, we need to be able to break a lot of these layers, right? Because The consequence on the screen, hesitance to speak up, fear of being labeled disrespectful, and even employees avoid giving bad news, right? And now a recent snapshot, for Nigeria, it was a survey that was done in 2022 in Lagos corporate firms, found that 68% of employees do not speak up about process gaps. So things get bad before people start talking. And it's because of things like this, right, in our workplace. And now 54% also believe that speaking up could damage career prospects. So obviously, you're looking at your line manager. You don't want to say something that will now make your line manager to say, maybe we will meet in performance review or something. I'm sure we've had, very funny experiences about workplace dynamics, right? So even this research and this survey that was done confirms it that 54% they believe that speaking up could damage career prospects. So they rather keep quiet. Let the manager continue to like me so that I'll keep getting promotion. I see something that is going bad, but I cannot speak because if I speak, the person that is handling it will be upset with me that I did. And if the person is even in power, it is worse because nobody can say anything. We have employees in the workplace that looks like they are untouchable because they are untouchable, they have power, and people are afraid to speak because if I speak, this person may make me lose my job or make me lose my place or may not score me right when performance comes or something. So this is like a research that confirmed that, as at 2022, right? This is 2026, right? I know that, a lot of work is being done, but I know that there's still a lot more work that still needs to be done because these things, these issues are still in some workplaces till this minute that me and you, right, were on this call, right? So let's keep it moving. All right. So now, So now, just giving you more context, right, about psychological safety versus the fear culture. Psychological safety means experimentations are welcomed here. Fear culture, mistakes are punished. Mistakes are punished. Questions are encouraged here, psychological safety. But in fear culture, silence is valued. Don't even say anything. Don't question anything. Anything we do here, I'm sure people have heard that line and say, this is how we do it here. This is how we do it. This is how it has been done here. So don't come from anywhere and come and suggest things, right? Then psychological safety feels like or sounds like feedback is normal. In fear culture, criticism undermines, like don't ask anything, don't give any feedback. If we say it is red, take it as red. You have to love red, whether you like it or not, right? Psychological safety means leaders ask why. Fear culture means leader says, just do it, right? This is like, comparison, just to give you more context of what is currently happening in a Nigerian workplace, right? In safe workplaces, you're free to experiment and try ideas. Because even in that idea not working out, you learn. And then fear culture is mistakes are punished. You try something, just like the feedback that Pearl gave us at the beginning of the call. She said she told employees, be safe at work, be safe because strike is going on or something, move around safe, which is an okay thing to do if you ask me. But then she got a query, and the reason for the query was that she didn't run it via her line manager at the time before she posted it. So, fear culture, questions encouraged, silence valued, feedback is normal, criticism, we do not tolerate it here. Don't bring it to our table. This is how we do it here, right? Leaders ask why. In a psychologically safe workplace, people, when leaders receive feedback, they probe, they're really interested to know why. Oh, okay. And why do you say this? Okay, this is what, but in fear culture, they'll tell you, no, this is how we do it here. This is how you will do it. You will not change the way we do it here. I've been in this company for 20 years before you, right? So stick to the rules. Now, but you know what the clear difference is? The clear difference is that safety will lead to learning. Safety leads to learning, and fear will lead to blame. In most of the workplaces where fear culture is, the norm, right? It's always blame that is the end game. By the time that thing flops, right? The person, so it's usually the people that really do not hold any power that suffers in workplaces like this. The junior team members, the mid-level members, that the power distance between them and the senior level are so huge, they are the ones that will suffer, right? Because it will not become blame that you should have. But there was a time that the person could have shared what this could have become. You didn't give the opportunity. Now this thing goes bad, it becomes blame, and even blame even damages workplace morale more than anything. Knowing that, especially blame for something that you did not even do, like it can be crazy. Like you'll be like, I didn't this, like it's not my fault, you know. But no matter what you say, you can't even prove that it is not your fault. That's how terrible fear culture is. So fear culture damages not even just the person, not just the morale, but even mind. And depending on how bad fear culture can go, you can even start to make you as an employee in that space start to doubt yourself. You can start to doubt your level of creativity. You can start to doubt your level of competence. Like, do I even know this job at all? Has anybody ever been in that kind of position before where you know that you're really, you're working, you're delivering, but then there's just this feeling of inadequacy that stems from the fact that no matter what you do, there is always blame or something. And most of the times, you even try to warn ahead or put in some level of work ahead to say, okay, this is what, but of course, no opportunity. And then when things go bad, everybody comes saying, oh, you did it. It's your fault. It's this, it's that. Has anybody really experienced that? I would really love it if you can, just, share in the comment, right? Let's just, if you can, right? Let's keep it moving. Now, there are 4 stages of psychological safety. So you cannot just claim that your workplace is safe until you have gone through these 4 stages and you tick all of them. There are 4 stages. It starts from stage 1, which is the inclusion safety. Feels included and part of a team. Now, in your current workplace, in your current organization, are people included in things? Like, do you involve as HR, right? Do you involve your employees? Do you co-create policies, strategies, plan? Do you co-create with your employees? Do you ask them what they think? Or you just go, design something and then you share to everybody. So yeah, sign and send back to me. Do you involve them in the process that, okay, we're looking at creating something called XYZ. What do you guys think? Feel free to share your opinions. Like, do your employee feels included, right? And part of a team or part of the organization? Or do you just dish out, like you just send it to them and say, deal with it, whether you like it or not. This is what we're doing here. Stage 1, inclusion safety. So every part of your team, whatever department they are in, whether finance, whether support team, whether your cleaners, your drivers, do they feel included in anything you're building as a company? Do they feel included, or they feel like, okay, it's only these people? Just like that poll I asked, I said, which voices are in the workplace? And most people said only senior voices matter. It means that in that kind of workplace, people that are not seniors, they don't have a say. So basically everything gets decided up and then it just passed down to say, okay, take it. Whatever you want to do with it, go ahead. Doesn't really concern us, but this is what we have decided. So is there inclusion safety in your workplace? Stage 2, learner safety. Do they feel safe enough to learn and ask questions? Right? Do they feel safe enough to learn and ask questions? Or everybody is silent, quiet, they don't even want to ask, they don't even want to put nothing. Is it safe to learn? Is it safe to make mistakes? Is it safe to ask questions in your organization? Stage 2. Stage 3, contributor safety. Do they feel safe enough to contribute and share ideas? Or are they afraid that if I share this thing, they will give me query or they will deduct my pay? And some of these things, it just that I think I was having a conversation around workplace disciplinary measures with a colleague. And I think I was just making a comment. I said, if not that, a lot of the things that some companies or some workplaces take up as their own way of disciplining people. Things, for example, to say, okay, deduct somebody's money because something happened and all of that. I'm like, if everybody can really assess like legal backup as easy as it is, like I feel like a lot of workplaces will sit up. A lot of work because you know that this person, you know, if people can really assess legal. I really wish that it's a solution that can really come out for people that work legal. Maybe somebody on this call can pick this idea, right, and run with it. Legal support, right, for workers, for career people that they can easily access legal support. I feel like a lot of workplaces will sit up. You won't do a lot of things you're doing, right? Is there contributor safety? Can people contribute? And then stage 4, is there challenger safety? Safe to contribute and challenge the status quo. Like, can your employees confidently say, ma, sir, this one, this is what it implies, and this is what I think. Is it welcomed in your workplace? So before you go out to say, my workplace is exempted, ensure that you have gone through 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that you can tick it off. Then at that point, you know that the respect and permission, right, variant is good, and you can really declare and say, my workplace is not included. But if you really sit down and assess, and you see that in this whole thing that I've laid out, you know that stage 1 is missing, or stage 2 is missing, or stage 3, or stage 4, or any of these stages are missing, you know that there's still work to do, right? And we need to go back to the drawing board. And now, quick question. In most meetings that you attend, who does the talking? In your organization, the meetings that you hold, your general meetings, your town hall meeting, your management report meeting, all the meetings that you hold, who does most of the talking? Is it everyone? Does everyone contribute? Please put it in the chat. Is it mostly senior leaders? Is it 1 or 2 loud voices? Or is it the same people every time? The same people every time. So in your meetings that you hold, have you actually stopped to listen and pay attention, right, to those that are contributing actively, to those that are saying, they always have things to contribute? Who are they? Is everyone contributing? Or is it mostly your senior leaders that always have things to say? I would like to add, I would like to add, I would like to add. And at the end, no other person is adding anything. Or is it just 1 or 2 people that are always talking? Or is it the same people every time, in every meeting that you have held? Have you really stopped to assess something as little as this? Right? I'm going to go into the chat. So please drop it. A, B, C, D. Right? Put it in the chat. So let me keep going. All right. So that Mela says only the senior voices matter. They call themselves top management. Okay. Dami, thanks for sharing. They call themselves top management. You see that this justifies that my second slide or my third slide. I was talking about the Nigerian cultural context of this whole seniority thing, right? We're so obsessed with titles that we'll demarcate this thing, top management, middle management, junior, floor. Cuckoo, let's just add floor to it so that we know that we want to label everybody, right? So let's keep it going. Pearl says another strange and funny one we experience is managers not bold enough to give negative feedback / bad news, or even they had talks with their subordinates. Oof. Okay. It's really strange and funny that managers are not even bold enough to give negative feedbacks, right? Or even have hard talks with their subordinates. I know we don't even use that word subordinates anymore. We probably just use reporting line, right? Because of DEIB. But anyways, let's keep it going. So this particular one, right? If managers are even finding it hard to give feedback, is a signal now that even managers don't feel safe. So managers are supposed to make the place feel safe for their employees, don't even feel safe enough to share what they have in their mind. So you see, everybody has work to do. Then a comment from CIPM, Delta State Branch, says this happens when you have a narcissist as a boss. You do all you can ahead and still take the blame. You keep working on eggshell. I agree with you. I agree with you. It happens. Then Salami says, with poll answers, say B, mostly senior leaders. Okay. So that's the people that speak most in your meetings. I wish those senior leaders are on this call. Ineka says, hey, everyone contributes. That's beautiful. That's what is appropriate. Latifa says, hey, everyone contributes. Fantastic. Then Wofai says everyone, but also depends on the level of the meeting. Okay, good point. Loa Bukola says, hey, everyone contributes. Omachi Simon says, hey, everyone contributes. Okay, it seems like our meetings are good if everyone is contributing. Mrs. Ola says A and B. So it means there are times where everyone contributes, and then there are also times where mostly senior leaders contribute. Okay, Ibrahim said most of the time is B in private businesses and A for multinationals. Okay, B, mostly senior leaders. A, everyone contributes for multinationals. Okay, because so it means you're answering this with your view of multinationals and private businesses. Okay, all right, let's keep it going. Mercy says A, everyone contributes. Jonah says A. Kofai says as HR, I make it a personal principle that everyone must contribute to the business group. Thank you, Kofai. Thank you. Your contribution, if not okay with the big guy, can be challenged. That's what we are saying. The Nigerian workplace context, the reality. Well, fine. If a manager fears giving feedback, then I am sure the manager is guiding against the retaliation risk. So this is Wofai contributing to, I think the comment that Pearl had made, if I'm not mistaken. So if a manager fears giving, it means he's sure he's guiding against the retaliation risk, which means even the manager feels unsafe. He's unsafe to even share feedback that is supposed to improve an employee's performance. So what happens? Right? And then Tokwe says, hey, everyone contributes. In a general meeting, everyone is encouraged to speak. Gillian. All right. Thank you all so much for your responses to this particular poll. The truth is, right, a lot of persons have said A, and I'm glad, right? A lot of feedback that I've gotten from this poll says A. So at least I'm glad that our meetings, right, are not doing so bad, right? Are not doing so bad. So everyone contributes. That's really the standard. Only senior people should not be speaking. Only same people every time. If you're even leading meetings, right, pay attention to those that are always speaking and those that are silent. You as an HR, depending on the kind of meeting, if you're even the one that's in charge, I think I love what Wofai said, that she makes it a responsibility to ensure everyone contributes. You can call somebody and say, oh, hi, what do you think about this? I do it a lot of times in meeting because there's some people that want to be silent, but they really have brilliant ideas. So you find a way to get them to talk. You can call them out. Oh, please contribute to this topic. What do you think? Right? And when they will say it, it's so beautiful, but you kept quiet. So you can also help, bring out that part, right, for your workplace and your employees to contribute in meetings, because that's also one way to also include people naturally. And now impacts of low psychological safety. Impacts of low psychological safety. Employees who don't feel safe will hide mistakes. And if employees are hiding mistakes, your business is already going down. Your business is already going down if your employees start to hide mistakes, right? Because mistakes are supposed to be something that you learn from, right? You learn from it so that next time you can do better and produce better results. Now, if you hide a mistake, you make a mistake, you hide it. How do you not even know the correct thing to do that will help that business, right? Avoid sharing. Who don't feel safe will avoid sharing bad news, right? Bad news said you can categorize it under mistakes. When you share them, people learn from them. Suppress ideas for improvement. Employees will suppress ideas. Who don't feel safe will suppress ideas for improvement, right? So the ideas, right, that are supposed to be shared much earlier, right, so that the company can improve and do better. They will not say anything. They will keep quiet until things now start to go bad. And then employees who don't feel safe will stick to the status quo. They will not do anything extra. They will just be doing everything as they can until the day they leave. Then the funny thing is, we will not go ahead and be scheduling exit interview, and and you really expect that they will tell you exactly what's going on. So you see that the work needs to be done before it gets to that point, right? And our negative outcomes that you will experience as a business is lower productivity. People will not give you their best if they do not feel safe. Imagine somebody waking up in the morning, preparing for work, and they're already strategizing how they're going to survive the day, right? So they are getting to your workplace with already their mind programmed that, oh, I'm not going to do too much. I won't contribute anything. I'm just going to try my best. Before 5 p.m. is here. Like, imagine somebody strategizing like that already. They're going to go to work and give what they can. They're going to be complacent in delivery, nothing extra, because you're not even allowing them to even tap into their inner potential. Poor service quality, it will show in how, I'm sorry if your business is even the one that has to deal with customers, because it will show in your service quality, right? The one that has to deal with direct customers, oh my God. There will be reduced innovation, nothing new will be happening, nothing new, nothing exciting. And then there'll be higher talent turnover. People would leave. People would leave. You will lose money, right? And now, Harvard Business Review confirms that organizations with low safety lose billions from errors that go unreported. Like, there are a lot of errors that have happened in the workplace that employees refuse to report. They would just keep quiet. They would keep quiet, especially in all these service-based businesses. And then, I've seen owners of these businesses come out to cry. They'll be like, oh, this happened, this happened. But in my mind, I'm like, if somebody is able to cover something like this, you should really be asking why. Why did they not choose an easier option to just come and say, this is what it is and this is what we could do better? Organizations will lose safety, lose billions from errors that go unreported. Unreported, you're losing revenue. So if you're a business owner here, right? If you're business owners and what's it called? Future business owners, at least, take psychological safety as something that you must have in your future company. And for those of us that are here, right, managing the people operations in businesses, we must ensure that we push psychological, we push for it, we fight for it if we have to. Does organization measure psychological safety? A, yes, formally. B, informally or intuitively. That they just guess and be like, I think they are happy, Sha. When we did the TGIF, we were all smiling. They like that we brought some biscuits and jollof rice. Abi, you're guessing. That's B. C, not at all. D, we've never discussed it. So please drop your, answer in the chat. Does the organization measure psychological safety? Yes. Fantastic. B, informally and intuitively. You just guess and show that, I'm sure they are happy. I think my employees are happy. Yeah. Yes, now we pay well. Yeah, I think we do. For our business competitors, we pay well. We also give them insurance. So I'm very sure they're happy. Or we give lunch, so I'm sure they should be okay, right? Right? Informally, intuitively. And then not at all. They don't measure it at all. And then D is not even something that has ever come up in conversations. It has never even come up until today. So please let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think a continuation of Julian's comment I didn't see before. It's best top management speak last because the contribution have a way of directing everyone in his opinion. Thank you. That's also a very good way to approach meetings. Salami says D. We've never discussed it. Jonah D. Pearl D. Ah, okay. Thank God we are here today. Thank God. Julian says be informally and intuitive. Ah, so you pull a team. I think they're happy here until until three people bring letter in 1 month. Also, G says be informally or intuitive. You just feel like I'm sure they are happy. They should be, right? Okay, Adewale says B, Esther says B, Adeshola says B, Jane says B, Olabukola says A. Okay, so from this poll, right, you see that, I don't even need to talk too much. We can already tell that this is something we need to really take more seriously. The truth is, every day, there are always people are have turned toxic workplaces into content, into LinkedIn posts. Oh, toxic workplace culture. I left people because they were toxic. We talk a lot about toxicity, but do nothing, absolutely nothing to make it less toxic, right? So from this poll, a lot of persons have said D. We've never discussed it, right? So we never discussed it just means that it's just something that, has not really, come to the radar that, okay, this is something we should really worry about. As long as we are doing everything right, trying to give everybody what they need, trying to manage them properly, trying to manage KPIs, this one, that one, everybody should be fine, right? The solutions always don't, this psychological safety thing, it really has to be something that you would really think of, and then you now decide to go and do something about it, which is why sections like this are very, very good, because it just brings you back to say, okay, right, I need to go back and do something differently. Latifa says B informally, Messi says A. So I've only gotten like 2 A's in this call. So what that tells me is that we all need to go back to the drawing board, right? In contributing our quota to ensuring that our workplaces are safe, we need to go back to the drawing board. If you've never discussed it before, this is where your conversations can start from. Tomorrow is Monday, so your to-do list for the week is to add in that this week we're going to have conversations around psychological safety. Even if you're starting with assessments, that's great. So that's leading me to my next slide. So now, how to assess psychological safety, right? If you already measure it, fantastic, right? Maybe just go over your processes and ensure that you have continuous improvement plan in place. And if you've been doing this informally, like, oh, I think my employees are happy. They have to be happy now. I saw them on Friday. They were all laughing. I'm sure they're happy. If that's how you're measuring it, you cannot do that anymore, right? If you've never discussed it, this is how you can start your conversation, right? So now, how to assess psychological safety? You have the quick pause indicators that you can use, right? Do employees provide upward feedback? Do they? Can your employees give feedback about their line manager? This one. Can they tell you how they are being treated? So when you answer these questions, you know where to start from. Are mistakes openly discussed? Or do people keep quiet because if they talk about their mistake, they'll be ridiculed and shamed for making mistakes? Do diverse voices participate in meetings? I think we already did meeting analysis, right? Which is saying, does everybody contribute? Are ideas acted upon or ignored? Because it is one thing for you to say you have an open discussion. People are free to share their ideas, but in all of these ideas, are there at least one or two that are acted upon? Or you just receive them for receiving sake and you still go and do what's on your mind? Because the reason why ideas are, welcomed in the first place is so that you can see things from a diverse perspective. So if you really get a fantastic idea that can really be of use to this workplace, do you actually take it upon and implement it? Do you act upon, or do you push it, or is it being pushed aside because it came from an employee that is at a junior level, right? So these are quick pause indicators, questions that you can start from and answer them honestly, right? Write them in your journal if that's where you want to write them. Answer them so you know where to start. And now, if you want to use, measurement, like, survey, the things that you need to be able to measure, right? I can speak up without fear of consequences. My input is valid even if it's critical. Errors are treated as learning opportunities, right? Because obviously, when you're trying to assess psychological safety, the most easy thing that you can do is to do surveys so you can get people responses, preferably anonymous in this case, because I'm guessing that if you have yes, yes, yes to all these questions, it means that even your surveys and your employees may never respond because they are afraid that they will know who they will know that it was them. That I think I've seen this meme online before, where I think it's a video where they said the HR person said, "Oh, fill this survey, it is anonymous." Then the next day, the line manager is looking at the employee somehow after they have said it is anonymous, right? So ensure that whatever survey you're going to put out, you get these responses from your employees. that it is done in such a way that people can actually contribute without fear, right? So now moving on. Now, what are the barriers? It's also important to know the barriers so that you can assess your workplace. If they are there, you have to work on that next. Barriers to employee voice in Nigeria. High power distance culture. I think I even mentioned some of this before. The fear of losing face. They want to, they want to constantly be in the favor of, people. So they don't want to lose face. Limited feedback channels. There are even no ways to give feedback in your workplace, right? Maybe you can even come up with like simple things like suggestion box or something. I know that the fear that most people have, even most employees have, even me, right? When I, in that shoe is the fear that if you go and suggest something that you can't do, trace it back to you, right? So it's also the whole signal of the whole psychological safety thing, right? So you must find a way to incorporate more feedback. It should be a normal thing to be able to say, this is what I think without fear. Performance management lacking psychological issues. Now, your performance management structure that you have put in place is very fantastic, right? To set KPIs and set your performance circle, set your framework, everything, right? But does your process even have a part where it has psychological cues? Like, do your system have where the employees can actually, comment, sign off, right? Comment on their own performance, even sign off on what their line manager says about them, that this is what they are doing. Maybe the manager says, oh, does not meet expectation. Does the employee have a voice to say, I think I met expectation and this is my proof, right? Knowing the context I already gave you about the Nigerian workplace reality. So you must find a way to is it imbibe now or add this kind of psychological cues in your performance management systems so that people can also be able to contribute at that level, right? Even whatever it is you're coaching, even these days, coaching is part of performance management frameworks now as well, as a way to also help employees, speak up, do better. So whatever it is you're designing, just ensure that you have a provision that says you are safe here, right? Weak leadership modeling. Weak leadership modeling is a barrier to employee voice in Nigeria. Leaders are, the truth is, everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is not necessarily power. Leadership is practically saying, oh, let me lead you through this path, right? But people have confused leadership to be, and I'm in charge. Whatever I say goes. But it's supposed to be, I'm in charge and you have the opportunity to contribute so that we achieve a common goal. A leader is someone that you're leading people and you're leading them towards a goal that is fulfillment, not that you lead people and then they question their life choices. So we have weak leadership modeling and it is a barrier to the employee voice in Nigeria. They will never be able to say anything because the upward feedback cannot work. The person that is even leading them, they cannot even try it, right? And because they're in a position of power, in most cases, they now become untouchable employees. So these are barriers to employee voice in Nigeria. So the first one, assessing your workplace, know what it is that you need to actually target, right? And where to start from. And now employee voice mechanisms. The easiest way to get employee voice is structured forums, right? Have forums where people can actually, contribute, drop ideas, anonymous feedback channels, and really let it be anonymous. Let it really be anonymous because what's the use of anonymous feedback channels when people can still tell that, oh, is this person that did it? So let it really be anonymous, right? Cross-functional teams. Allow your employees to be able to collaborate across, right? Okay, you're in marketing, you're in finance, you're in logistics, you're this. There should be some form of initiatives that allows all your employees to collaborate, right? Leadership office hours. You should be able to have, your leaders, your line managers, the lead people, they should be able to get some level of feedback. Even you as an HR person, you should design a system where, that this is something that you check and that they are also checked in as well. Because you can be building all your fantastic employee engagement strategy, building your retention strategy, building this your HR strategy for the year 2026. You can be building all of that. But if leadership is not right, everything you're building will come crumbling down. And you'll be wondering, I thought you were happy here, in exit interview. That's not it. So whatever it is that you're building, just ensure that leadership is not left out. You have something put for them too, right? And then there should be learning circles. There should be opportunity to learn. It should be okay to make mistakes, to learn, to get better at something. There should be opportunity to do that. That's how you strengthen the voice in your workplace. And now, another poll, how easily is it to give honest upward feedback in your organization? So this one is just to check, that particular slide that I presented before this one. How easy it is to give honest upward feedback in your organization? A, very easy. B, possible but risky. So do you want to risk it? C, rarely possible. D, impossible. So let me know where you're at. Let me know where you're at. Is it very easy? Is it possible but risky? Is it rarely possible? Is it impossible? So Lord Bukola says A, very easy. That's really good. Keep it up. Latifa says B, possible but risky. So it becomes a game of, do I want to be risk? Do I want to face the risk or not? Then Messi says A, very easy. Okay. So Ade says, honestly, like how relaxed you are speaking through this delivery, very relatable topic. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you. All right. Salami says B, possible but risky. Okay. And Salami, are you willing to take the risk? All of you that should be, I need you guys to actually confirm. Can you take that risk? And when you say risky, what does the risk involve? Like, what kind of risk is involved in this speaking of? Is it that they will tell you, yeah, type your resignation letter? I think I've seen very funny things like that. That because you gave a feedback, I think someone had shared, was it on HR Mentor? I can't remember, but I know I saw one particular discussion, and the whole thing was that the person called out, some kind of policies or ideas in the workplace, and what's it called? They were told that you're going to be leaving by the end of this month. So what does risk mean to you? Salami says B, okay. Another B. Koyemi says A, very easy. Okay, that's good. Olusoji says rarely possible. Chai. So it's once, maybe it's only on Christmas Day you can speak your mind, Abi. CIPM Delta State Bank says, as long as it's not harmful to the boss. Why are you being careful? Harm him. What if they've been harming people with what they've been doing? Right? Okay. If you're actually putting a caveat to say, as long as it is not harmful to the boss, it means you should question the psychological safety of that place. So if it is harmful to the boss, if it's going to hurt his feelings, you will not tell him. And what if it's damaging the business? Okay. Pearl says A, very easy. Okay, I have a lot of A's. Jonah say A, very easy. Adewale says B, possible but risky. So what are you willing to risk? Zainab says B, possible but very risky. Salami say, if it doesn't go well with my director, we need to verbal school. That place. Okay. Okay, so that's what the risk is. So if you give feedback and it does not go well, scolding, wow. We really need to do better. Adewale says risk of misinterpretation. Wow. So that's a risk. Okay. Thank you all for sharing with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the truth is, right, if you're also looking to start, your journey into imbibing, into pioneering psychological safety for your workplace, this is like the most easiest thing to check. Can people give honest feedback? Like, can they give honest, upward feedback? Or they will be afraid that, if I give this feedback, if I give this feedback, I am not sure I will still be welcomed here. They will just chase me out of this place. So Adeshola said it depends on those saying it. If they are the boss favorite, politics don't enter. Okay. So if it's only the boss, if it's the boss favorite, they will listen. Why do you even have to have favorites in the workplace? Anyway, that's topic for another day. If we enter that one self, I'm sure I will not finish this my presentation. So let me keep it moving. Thank you all for responding to the call. Okay. Now, what's the role of leadership in psychological safety? Right? Like I said, as an HR professional, whatever it is that you're building in the workplace, all your strategies, your templates, your policies, your TGIF, your retreats, everything that you're building in the workplace, right? They would not yield fruit if leadership is not right in that workplace. You will just keep working and laboring, and it will look as if you're trying to even grasp what your harvest is. You'll be doing a lot of work, but it would not really be showing because this one is not right. Because everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything you can think of rises and falls on leadership. So the role of leadership, right, is a lot when it comes to psychological safety. It is a lot. It starts from top down to the bottom. It is a lot. And just the four things I added to my slide: acknowledge uncertainty. As a leader, right, acknowledge uncertainty in the workplace. Invite input, even if it is challenging. It's just like how Adeshola commented that, oh, if it is the boss favorite, they will listen. Why do you even need to have favorites in the workplace? It's not a thing that should be encouraged in the workplace, right? Reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. Reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. Not that somebody makes a mistake and then, you speak to them in a condescending manner and then they go back and even question why they are existing in the first place. It is wrong, right? So in your workplace, as an HR leader, as the HR in charge of people, welfare and management of your workplace, check these things. Go around. Don't just sit in your office all cooled up, oh, they will come to me, Go around, enter, just throw into marketing unit and check what's going on there. Just how are you people doing? How is, just go around and so that you can be able to see some of these things. Because you won't be able, some employees will suffer in silence. Like they will suffer and suffer and suffer until they can no longer suffer. And then they would carry their expertise and go somewhere. Then it's at that point now that everybody will not be doing everything to keep that employee. Anybody that, because I'm also a career strategist, I coach people around career. So anybody that comes to me and say, oh, I want to leave my company, and then they are begging me to stay, me on the spot, I will tell you, leave, don't listen to them. Because why would they wait until you are about to work out and overnight they just discovered how important you are to the business? Drop that letter and walk out. Go to where your expertise will be appreciated. I preach it every day and I will not stop preaching it, because you shouldn't be waiting until when somebody is out of the door before you are not trying to create. What are you trying to create? What is it? What are you trying to put together at that point? That's when the budget for salary review that has not been done since 1 year ago, that's when magically it is now okay to increase that pay. That's when it is not okay to increase that pay. And then the last point here says, respond appreciatively to ideas, even the imperfect ones. Some of the ideas, true, they may not even, when somebody, it may not make sense, right? But it is still welcome. Like, respond appreciatively to ideas. Oh, thank you so much for contributing that point. The truth is, it does not even have to make sense to you, right? You know why? Because everybody has a mind and everybody has a perspective. So you will only be able to even truly understand people's ideas and contributions if you are in their mind, but sorry, you're not inside their mind. So you should be open, which is why emotional intelligence is something that as an HR professional, even as a career, you don't even have to be in HR, anybody at all. As long as you're a human being, it's something that you should never lack. If you don't have it, if you don't know what it is, go and read books, go and check, no excuse, right? So that you're able to understand and respond to things not just from what you think, but after really analyzing the entire situation. The only way you can really get, the real deal is if you're in people's mind, but we don't have that superpower. It's only in all these movies that people can read people's mind, right? So since you and I don't have that superpower, you're supposed to live openly in the workplace, live openly, allow people suggest. It doesn't have to be perfect to you because that person conceived that thought and then shared it. It came from a place. So even if you do not understand, even if you don't relate to it, welcome it and respond appreciatively to that idea. Don't shut it out, right? So if leaders can align with, even if it's there are a lot of more other things, but of course I cannot come and start presenting the entire world. But even these 4 key areas, if you can align with it and ensure that the leaders in your workplace align with this, it will be a lot easier for anything you're trying to build. It will be a lot easier to have safe workplaces. Now, a company X in Nigeria, this is a case study, right? They had a problem, and the problem was low product quality, right? They had a problem, and it was low product quality and high customer complaints. And this is a company that, they deal with, B2C, right? Product quality was the problem and high customer complaints. And now, from observations, they confirmed that staff knew process gaps but never reported them. So now the product quality was low. Something was obviously happening where it was being produced or manufactured from, right? But everybody was keeping quiet. It's not me that will say it. You know how there's this line in the workplace that is not from my mouth that you will hear it. I think something like there's a clause like that that is not from my mouth that you will hear it. So everybody is being safe. You don't want to be the person that contributes that particular point or say it even in meetings or anywhere. You rather want to be safe than sorry. Now, for this particular company, right, after observing that staff knew process gaps and they never reported them, now what did they do? They gave an anonymous suggestion portal, right? This is intervention. So I'm sharing this case study, right? So please look at the problem as well and feel free to also add what you recommend as intervention, right, for this problem. They have low product quality and they have high customer complaints. And from observations, staff knew process gaps, but they never reported them. So because of that, the product they kept pushing out was low in quality, and of course, customers were complaining bitterly. So, what intervention, right, do you think, from your perspective, from all the conversation we're having today, right, that it can put? I think I already put one on the screen. Anonymous suggestion portal. Since it is hard for them to identify process gaps, right, or even report them, right? So, anonymous suggestion portal. So, if you have anything else, please feel free to contribute to this, right? So, I think I have a comment here. So, okay. Okay, Aiza is commenting on the comment I made about when employees want to leave. So, you say medicine after death. After leaving, the COO, DOO, and other top executives will start calling and making promises to entice the employee. I know, right? It is at that point, like these are people that will not even reach out to you on a normal day. That's why I can never understand it. Like it means it is something that would naturally come to you, but you will not do it until you are at that finish line. Why? Like, why would you wait to that point? Thank you, Isaac, for contributing that. So please feel free to type your interventions. I would also take them as I go. So anonymous suggestion portal, right? That was one intervention I highlighted. Leaders publicly thanked contributors. So for the people that, do contribute and report these mistakes, they are publicly thanked. In town hall meetings, they'll say, oh, I hope no Sarah is on this call, but I'm going to use Sarah. They'll say, oh, we thank Sarah for identifying the gap that we found out in the production of this particular product. Because of that, we greatly improved our service and customers are happier. Like, give people accolades, right? And then the third point that I added here is mistakes are discussed in team meetings. In team meetings, it's not just the manager come and talk about how we are a family here, how we are this, everybody do better, blah, blah, blah. No. In that meeting, they are discussing, oh, this is what happened last week. This is what we can do better. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing. So let me check the contributions I have in the chat now. Thank you. All right. So Onye says encourage bottom-up conversation to enable employees open up on suggestions. Thank you so much. That's a very great addition, right? Encourage bottom-up communication. Thank you. Pearl says recognize contributors and innovators. Thank you. It's even aligned with the second point, right? Recognize contributors and innovators. Anybody that contributes a brilliant idea, recognize them immediately so that it will encourage others to also contribute, and they will know that it is okay. It's almost like a pat on the back saying it is okay to speak up here. Nobody's going to bite you, right? Nobody's going to bite you. It is very, very okay for you to speak up. Nobody is going to do anything to you. So recognize contributors and innovators. Then Ibrahim said, call town hall meeting immediately, initiate skip level meetings, and then 3, tie. Okay, not also a bad suggestion. It's also great. Of course, in meetings, you identify, but if you're calling town hall meetings, right, it will also be great. I think I'm going to fuse all of our responses together because, all fantastic, right? Meetings. And in those meetings, recognize contributors. In those meetings, encourage bottom-up feedback that Onye suggested, right? So all of these contributions are fantastic. Please feel free to drop what you think can be an intervention, what you can add for this particular company. And then now, we're also painting a scenario. So saying that they implemented everything we've recommended, right? What would result look like? I think I have an additional contribution. What would result look like? Pearl says, create focus groups consisting of different level of employees to deal with issues perceived in companies. This builds ownership mindset. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pearl, for adding this. Thank you, everyone that, shared their interventions. That focus group idea is fantastic, right? Where they can actually discuss and come up with solutions. Great. So now, painting a scenario where they have taken all our contributions, all our interventions, what results will look like? There will be fewer production errors. There will be higher employee satisfactions, right? Across board. So I hope that company X is able to, take one or two from what we have contributed today and they do better, get better results. And also take company X, right, even to your current workplace, right? Check for those systems, those things that are not currently working, those gaps that are currently there, right? Start from there. And you would see that a lot of the times the solution is just staring at you in the face and you've just not looked in that direction. So approach it the same way. Now, benefits of psychological safety plus voice. You have higher innovation rates. People will be contributing ideas to your business. Better problem detection. You identify what the issue is and you solve it really fast. Our business keeps moving. You have stronger teamwork. People work better together. Greater employee engagement. When you really do, your strategies and stuff, people are really, engaged, not as if they are forced to participate. And improved retention. People stay where they feel safe. People stay where they are valued. Most times, right? People stay at jobs, for reasons that are bigger than money. People stay at jobs for reasons that are bigger than paycheck. People spend a significant time of their lives at work, right? I think I did an analysis of how many days, right, that we spend at work. I took out, say you have standard leave of 21 days. I took out, maybe you have casual leave and took it. Maybe you have exam leave, you took it. You have compassionate leave, whatever it is, calculated it, minus it from 365 days. Take away weekends if you don't work weekends, or if you work weekends, add it. If you do that calculation, like maybe that should be your, maths that you will do tonight. Do that maths, right? 365 days. Subtract your leave, all your leave days. Subtract weekends that you don't work, right? subtract all of those, and see how many days you actually go to work in a whole year. You will know that we spend a lot of our life at work currently. We spend, like, you leave your home in the morning. For those of us that live in Lagos, you have to be out as early as 5, depending on where you stay. And then you are coming back to that house, depending on where you stay. Oh, you may get home 6, you may get home 7, you may get home 8 p.m., you may get home 9 p.m. So calculate how many hours of even the day that you are getting for yourself, right? So if you do that mathematics, you understand why the workplace has to be a place that people go to and they can really just exist and live their life and thrive. It is very important. People will stay where they feel safe. If you do that math, you really see. I think I did it, and I got about 330 something days in a whole year. Like, that is how most, like, how many days and the number of time that I spend at work. So it is important that this work has to make me happy. And now that's how it is for every human being. Right? So, concluding with this, right? The Nigerian workforce is young, it is creative and naturally entrepreneurial. There are no shortage of the ideas or talents across industries. What's often missing isn't ability, it's the freedom to actually speak up, right? It's the freedom to actually speak up. That is what is missing. And then psychological safety isn't soft or optional, and it's definitely not just HR language. It is a real business need. And when people feel safe to share ideas, ask questions, or admit mistakes, teams work better. They move faster, and they make even smarter decisions, especially in uncertain times, right? Let me quickly check the comments I have, right? Okay, additions, right? Should town hall meeting be called for instance of a problem or routine scheduled meetings? All right, thank you. Aiza says, yes, psychological safety, especially psychological first. Thank you, right? So psychological safety is not a soft optional, it's not a thing that you would want to do as a nice to have. You have to build it with intentionality. Because even you as an HR person, you're also an employee. If you also don't feel safe, it is not great. You cannot do your best work in that condition. You cannot. You will see things going bad and you will just be saying, yes, sir, yes, ma, okay, we are going to send it. That's not how to deliver HR work the best way. You should be able to say, oh, this is what I think. This is against the law. This is that, right? Now, the organizations that will truly thrive in this Nigerian's future of work that we're heading to are those that shift from authority-driven cultures to trust-driven workplaces where people are heard, learning is encouraged, and good ideas matter more than job titles. You know that slide where I talked about the whole Nigerian context? We're obsessed with titles. We're obsessed with levels. And changing this whole thing starts from me and you. It's not even to start pointing fingers. Let's start from us. What is even your mindset, right, around things like this? Learning is encouraged and good ideas matter more than job titles. It has to. It has to. And then lastly, psychological safety doesn't lower performance. It brings out the best of it. Thank you. I hope that with this viewpoint of mine, I've been able to convince you that psychological safety is a must-have in your workplace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Very brilliant submissions, contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this has been time well spent. At this intersection, I will just humbly request that we unmute and appreciate Juliet for her brilliant contributions tonight. Let's unmute and let's appreciate her. Don't worry, this is a
Thank you
safe.
so much, Juliet.
Thank you,
so
ma'am,
much.
for a beautiful,
Thank
insightful session. Your
Thank
delivery
you
was
so
fantastic.
much. Fantastic delivery, honestly. Fantastic. Please come again. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Miss Juliet.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank
Thank you
Thanks
you.
for
so
having
much. This is a
Lovely.
fantastic class. So thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet.